get together for the first time this season, the Packers and the Detroit Lions. Good afternoon, everybody. We welcome you to the NFL on Fox. I'm Kenny Albert, along with Moose and Goose, Daryl Johnston, and Tony Siragusa. The Packers come in with a record of 2-2. Both losses have come against first-place teams, the Bengals and the Vikings. Today, Green Bay takes on a Detroit Lions squad that has not won a game in Wisconsin in their last 18 tries. And Daryl, let's start by talking about the Packers coming off their bye week. It's given some of their starters a chance to get healthy.
Yeah, perfect timing for the bye for the Green Bay Packers. Injuries are a part of the game of football, but sometimes they can affect the dynamic of a team, and I think that that's what happened to the Green Bay Packers. They get two of those key players back this afternoon. Safety Atari Bigby is back on the field. I think that gives Dom Capers a lot of confidence in the back end of that defense to bring some pressure up front. And starting left tackle, Chad Clifton back in the lineup. Everybody kicks back to their normal position. Look for those protection problems to be minimized and more production in the running game. And for the Detroit Lions, it seems like they have been in transition for the last decade. Well, now it's Jim Schwartz's opportunity, and he challenges his team to be competitive week in and week out. That's going to be a tall order this afternoon as Matthew Stafford is quarterback, big-time receiver Calvin Johnson down on the outside. And Kenny, 3 of their 4 starting defensive linemen are inactive this afternoon.
And Darrell, with Stafford out, Dante Culpepper makes his second start this season. When we return, we'll check in with Tony Siragusa, but first this from the Verizon Football Zone.
Green Bay Packers are a team that's owned by a community, supported by a community, and surrounded by a community. The Packers defense has not hit their stride since switching from a 4-man front to a 3-man front in the offseason. The guy who's been most affected by this is a guy who needs to be rushing the passer more. That's Aaron Campman. They need to go and switch it up a little bit. This guy should not be dropping into coverage. He should have his hand down in the dirt where he belongs.
All right, Goose, time for the Autotrader.com Ultimate Quarterback Comparison. Dante Culpepper getting set to make his second start this season for the injured Matthew Stafford. Aaron Rodgers' career-high 384 yards against Minnesota in his last game. Autotrader.com, the ultimate automotive marketplace.
Fox Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Lambeau Field sold out for the 280th consecutive game on a 45-degree afternoon in Green Bay. The Packers have won the toss. Jason Hanson will kick off for the Lions. Jordy Nelson replacing the injured Will Blackman back deep for the Packers. The Packers 2-2, the Lions 1-4. We are underway in Green Bay. Opening kickoff taken out to 2 by Nelson. Nelson across the 30. Penalty markers across midfield. Jordy Nelson is going to take it all the way. 98 yards. There are 2 flags back at the 30-yard line.
During the return, holding, receiving team, number 62. 10-yard penalty, first down.
That's Evan Dietrich Smith, the rookie out of Idaho State.
Let's go back and take a look at this and see if we can see. Here's Clay Matthews working. Could it possibly have been a 52 number? He's got a handful of jersey on the back there. I'm thinking that we just had a misidentification, and that one was on actually number 52, Clay Matthews.
Evans on the sideline, all mad. He called his number, he wasn't even out there.
Told the referee announced 62, but it looked like 52. In any event, Packers start from their own 20-yard line. Rodgers on first down. The pass is complete for a gain of 3 to the tight end, Jermichael Finley.
We've got so many guys out of the starting lineup today. We're going to show you who the key inactives are before we show you the starters. Obviously for the Detroit Lions, Calvin Johnson, Matthew Stafford, that's just a huge loss offensively, but a surprise with Manny Ramirez, the guard, being out also. And then if you saw those last 3, it was the defensive line, 3 of the 4 defensive linemen for Detroit. And then for the Green Bay Packers, we've also got a couple. Jason Spitz, the starting center, will be down. So a lot of guys out of the lineup this afternoon.
False start. Offense, number 71. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
71 is Josh Sitton, the right guard.
And there's the guys who could make it out on the field today for the Green Bay Packers. And there's the biggest one, Chad Clifton. Now that kicks Darren College back from left tackle to left guard. Scott Wells, the center, filling in for Jason Spitz. They've got everybody back to where they were through training camp in that opening game before Chad got hurt. I expect to see the protection, and then also the running game should benefit from all those guys being in the right spots.
Penalty marker on 2nd and 12. The pass is caught by Donald Lee. Lee out of bounds after a gain of 4 at the 22-yard line.
Offside. Defense, number 92. Lining up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
92, Cliff Averill. Lions, as you mentioned, Darryl, without 3 starters on their defensive line.
And that's going to be a tough challenge for them today to generate some pressure with that Green Bay offensive line being back in place. And now this is the defensive secondary that's starting the game, not necessarily maybe the group that finishes the game. Jim Schwartz, not afraid to make a move. He and defensive coordinator Gunther Cunningham, if you're not playing well, you'll find yourself on the bench.
On 2nd down and 7, Rodgers' pass off the hands of Donald Lee.
I don't remember a more sloppier start to a game, Goose, this season.
Hey, 3 flags already, offsides, holding penalties. Well, this has been a slow one right here.
I mean, what looked like an awesome start, the return of the opening kickoff back for a touchdown, has just turned into a flag fest.
Third down and 7, 3 wide receivers for the Packers. Packers must get to the 30 for a first down, and they do. What a catch by Greg Jennings.
Well, the Detroit Lions are going to be forced to bring pressure if they're going to have success defensively this afternoon. And when you do that, you leave yourself vulnerable to the big play. Here comes 2 pressures off the left side. Greg Jennings slips right up the field. He draws a linebacker in coverage, a huge mishmash. But that's what's going to happen. If you're going to be forced to bring pressure, you are going to put yourself into certain points during the course of the game where you have a bad matchup.
A 26-yard pass play as Ryan Grant takes the handoff from Rodgers and gains 4 into Lions territory.
If Detroit shows 5 guys on the line of scrimmage, they need to bring the pressure. They can't be dropping guys out. And that's why you're going to see receivers wide open if they don't bring that pressure, especially with them defensive linemen. They really don't have a lot of experience down in there now.
2nd and 6, Goose. Jennings split to the left. Donald Driver to the right. Grant up the middle. Bottled up and forced back by Julian Peterson.
Julian Peterson, one of the guys that Detroit has brought in, and I think that that's going to pay dividends because when you are in transition, if you are building your team, you need some veteran leaders that are professional. Julian Peterson, just been a solid player his entire career, a great person to have in your locker room to help these younger guys out, to learn how to do things the right way every day.
Peterson, the former 49er and Seahawk. 3rd down and 6. Rodgers with time, wide open is Jones. James Jones into the end zone for the Packers touchdown.
defense, number 68. That penalty decline. Touchdown.
Well, you can see why Tennessee, or the Detroit Lions, have not been happy with the way that this secondary has played. And there's guys just running free on the opening drive.
First touchdown of the season for James Jones. Packers score a touchdown on their opening drive for the first time all season. 7-0 Green Bay. Back in Green Bay, Packers drive 80 yards and take an early 7-0 lead. And for the second time, the ball blows off the tee. Happened to Hansen prior to the opening kickoff.
Well, we're down there on the field before the game, and it's blowing quite a bit. It's a little chilly down there. Didn't feel like 45 and sunny.
No, it doesn't at all.
Short kickoff by Crosby. Taken out of bounds by Derek Williams, the rookie out of Penn State. Returned out to the 29.
Let's go back and take a look at this touchdown catch by James Jones. And I think what William James is right here. Now he's going to peel and go to the inside on coverage. That means Marquand Manuel should have to slide outside. But he kind of stays in a deep half position, and that just opens up this huge void for James Jones on the outside. You can see him get to the hash and start backpedaling. I mean, he left the whole left side of the field open.
So now the Lions go to work. Good field position from their own 30 as Dante Culpepper hands off to Kevin Smith, and he's met in the backfield by Johnny Jolly.
Dante Culpepper getting the start today for Matthew Stafford. You know, I think the Packers have respect for this group. They like Kevin Smith as a running back. Brandon Pettigrew, remember that name. And you talk about big guys at the tight end position that can create matchup problems, but he is a great blocker also.
Second down and 11. And this time a loss of 4 on the play as Smith is wrapped up by Clay Matthews as we check in with Kurt Menefee. Kurt.
And we check in on the NFC North leading Minnesota Vikings, led by Brett Favre. Opening drive, touchdown pass to Vicente Shanko for 19 yards. And the Vikings lead the Ravens 7-0. Kenny Moose and Goose.
All right, thanks very much, Kurt. So an early lead for Brett Favre and the Vikings. Third down and 15 as Culpepper's pass is picked off by Jenkins. The Lions look to set up the screen, and Cullen Jenkins with the interception.
Great rush by Aaron Campman to go and pressure a bad throw on that one. He comes out of a 4-point stance around the corner, does a great job of getting his hands in Culpepper's face.
Tony, look where his hands are.
In the dirt, man. Here he goes, short corner. Culpepper feels him coming. He tosses the ball up. Cullen Jenkins, those big guys up front got great hands.
Yeah, he made the play with his vision, though, Goose. Cullen Jenkins smelled that screen out. He dropped right back into the air, and as you pointed out, a throw Dante Culpepper never should have made.
First career interception for the 6-year veteran out of Central Michigan. Packers from the 17. Taking it down to the 11-yard line is Ryan Grant. Gain of 6, brought down by Cliff Averill.
Little insult to injury right there. You guys want to see how you run a screen the right way, Detroit? Here, we'll show you how. This is how you do it.
Cliff Averill does a nice job of coming back out of the pass rush, though, to go and get that down, or he'd still be running, I think.
Second down and 4. Aaron Rodgers has started the game 4 for 5. Donald Driver. And that reception sets a new Packers franchise record. Career catch number 596 96. He came into the game tied with Sterling Sharp. Now there is a flag. A late flag was thrown as Driver salutes the crowd.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense, number 73, 15-yard penalty, third down.
They're in college, playing the left guard spot. We'll see at the end of the play. His guy's getting all stacked up by a bunch of teammates.
Yeah, just going over.
You know, sometimes somebody has to do this, though. I mean, Mike McCarthy is not going to be happy with the 15 yards, but you can't let this kind of stuff happen.
Yeah, he hit him in the back there. That's just cleaning the pile. That's when guys get hurt. That's not a good play right there.
But it wasn't on Derek College, though, was it? I think
it was college.
It
was college. Yeah.
Okay.
So the catch stands, and because Driver picked up a first down, Jerome Boger initially announced that it will be third down, then corrected himself, so it will be first down just outside the 20-yard line.
I don't know, Goose. You've got a bunch of defensive guys driving your guy back. He can get hurt just as easily as a guy that gets lit up by the pile can. So I think it's important to set a tempo. If you're going to be a team, you've got to be able to protect your guys on the outside. So I mean, you're not going to like the 15 yards, and it pushes you back a little bit, but it sets a tone for this offense, and I think they need that. I think this Packer offense needs that element to step up.
First and 10 following the penalty from the 21-yard line. Off the fake to Grant. Pass is bobbled and then gathered in by Finley. Jermichael Finley had a terrific game against Minnesota 2 weeks ago. 6 catches, 128 yards, gains 8 on his second reception today.
This guy could be something special. I mean, he is a big target, very athletic. Look at the catch. You know, back shoulder, gets one-handed, bats it around a few times before he gets it secure, but he is going to be a matchup problem, especially in this part of the field. You get down into the red zone, you've got a guy like Jermichael Finley. You can create some real matchup problems for the opposition.
Second down and 2, Grant. And Ryan Grant has a Packers first down, just inside the Lions' 10.
Tell you, that Lions defense isn't doing a bad job with a lot of guys who weren't planning on starting that are starting now. They got Turk McBride at left end, who's listed as number 3 on the depth chart. Doing a pretty good job against the run so far, Bruce.
Jim Schwartz without Jason Hunter, Sammy Hill, and Dwayne White, 3 starting defensive linemen. First and goal from the 9. The slant is caught by Finley, and he was ruled down before the ball came out. Ruled down at the 1-yard line.
Jermichael Finley showing you a little bit of that athleticism. He's outside on a corner. Now, you expect maybe a little fade, get the ball up in the air. We'll have a little jump ball situation, but he is good enough to get inside on the slant versus a corner.
Stephen Peterman, an offensive lineman, has come in for the Lions on defense. Second and goal from the 1. Rodgers throws, touchdown to the fullback, John Kuhn.
Those fullbacks don't have quite a vertical jump as the rest of the players, Moose?
They have a trampoline down in that end of the end zone, and all the fullbacks know to go over that way to get that little extra bounce to get over that wall.
A rare Lambeau leap for a fullback. Kuhn's 3rd touchdown this season. 3 touchdowns in 5 games.
The trend is turning. Fullbacks are going to be receivers now.
Packers capitalize on the turnover, the Cullen Jenkins pick. 14-0. Green Bay, 2nd touchdown pass of the day for Aaron Rodgers. Great start for Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Packers have scored on their first 2 drives. There's John Kuhn. Darryl, 5 touches this season for Kuhn, 3 touchdowns.
60% of the time it results in 6 points. Got to find a way to get him the ball more often.
Another short kickoff taken on the run by Williams at the 21. He's out to the 33-yard line. Before he was tackled by Derek Martin. 12-yard return. One more look. A fullback up and into the first row.
Help him up. Help him up.
Back in Green Bay, Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa. 112 yards of offense for the Packers. They lead the Lions 14-0. First and 10 for Detroit from their own 34-yard line. Culpepper in trouble, wrapped up, down he goes. Clay Matthews Jr. with his 2nd sack of the season.
6 guys on the line of scrimmage, and they bring everybody. Clay Matthews unblocked.
Tony, it looks like they jumped into a little bit of that 46 defense. There's Clay Matthews right here coming off the edge. He just happened to be the first one that got there. I think there was going to be 2 other guys that had a chance for a sack.
Loss of 9 on the play. Culpepper sacked 7 times by the Steelers last week. Smith out to the 29. Gain of 4 as we check in on the Saints and the Giants with Kurt.
And it is the matchup of the day, living up to it so far. Opening possession, Drew Brees a little bit lucky. Gets that one to Lance Moore. 18-yard pickup, but it set up the first score of the game. Up and over goes Mike Bell for the touchdown on 4th down. It's 7-0 Saints after their opening possession. Kenny?
All right, Kurt, 2 of the 5 remaining unbeaten teams in the National Football League. The 5-0 Giants and the 4-0 Saints. Culpepper on 3rd and 15 with time. He fires downfield, and it's nearly intercepted. Tremont Williams got a hand on it.
Hey, Tony, you'll be happy to know that that Eric Hampton is putting his hand in the dirt even when he's a nickel, and he's getting some pressure, and that's forcing Dante to get rid of the ball a little bit early. You see right there Tremont Williams running step for step with Derek Williams. He's looking for the offensive pass interference. He wanted the interception.
That bye week last week, they saw something in film. They knew Aaron had to get his hand down. Making a difference today.
Nick Harris punting from his own 20-yard line. Jordy Nelson backpedals, lost the football, and then is tackled at the 23-yard line. Packers with a 14-0 lead here in Green Bay. 14-0 lead for the Packers. Green Bay with wins over Chicago and St. Louis. The 2 losses have come at the hands of the 4-1 Bengals and the 5-0 Vikings, and a terrific start today against Detroit. From the 23-yard line, the slant to Driver. A first down out to the 39-yard line, 16-yard pass play.
And I think, Kenny, that's an important point. When you mention who they played and what their schedule was and where they are right now, they're 2-2, but you have to kind of look at who they were playing and why they're in that position. They really hadn't changed a lot in the bye week. They went into the bye week and said, hey, we're all right. You know, we had some key injuries that have impacted doing a lot of backward ball. You know, a lot of things that they just need to focus on for themselves, but it wasn't anything where they had to make wholesale changes.
And they're healthier coming out of the bye. Out to the 43, Ryan Grant. Gain of 4. Jordy Nelson injured during the last return, and he's replacing Will Blackman, the terrific return man who went on injured reserve earlier this week.
And Jordy's very good at kickoff returns, but punt returns are a whole different thing. You saw him bobble that ball, and because he had to bend down, pick that up, all of a sudden the coverage has more time, and right as he popped up, he took a shot in his lower leg.
2nd down and 6. That is the 9th straight completion for Rodgers as Greg Jennings picks up a first down out at midfield. Gain of 7. William James made the tackle. So Aaron Rodgers, Darryl, now 10 of his first 11 with 2 touchdown throws.
And he made the point that it was probably a worst-case scenario for them, the way they played at Minnesota with the bye coming up. And now for 2 weeks, you've got to sit there, and as players, you know, hear everybody from the outside start poking holes into what you're doing as a team. And I just really like what Green Bay did during that bye week. They didn't panic. You know, hey, you know, it is what it is. And, you know, we're fine. And Aaron Rodgers, you know, he was one of the guys that was criticized, and he's come out and played great.
On 1st and 10 from midfield, wide open is the tight end, Donald Lee, 26-yard pass play.
Well, he looks really confident in the pocket, Moose, because he's got his left tackle, Chad Clifton, back, and he knows that position is solidified. He's not going to catch a lot of pressure from the outside.
Illegal formation, offense. Number 76 was not lined up on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Oh, there you go. He's got a little penalty, but here he is right here. Left tackle.
He's just trying to get a little bit of an advantage there, getting a half yard back further in the backfield.
Yeah, they're always trying to go and get a little bit of extra yardage backwards. A little easier of an angle. They'll block them defensive ends. They got the speed.
Clifton, the ankle injury, Goose, missed the last 2.5 games. Back to the starting lineup today. 1st and 15, more flags.
Might be on pace for a record here, guys.
False start, offense, number 76, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
That's 2 in a row on Clifton.
Got to knock some of that rust off. They've been able to overcome everything so far this afternoon. I mean, Green Bay has not got off to a great start with these penalties, but they've been able to overcome it so far against this Lions defense that has a lot of starters out and a lot of issues in the secondary to begin with.
5 Packer penalties in this first quarter. From the 39, wide receiver screen to Jennings. And a nice tackle made by Phillip Buchanan. Gain of just 1. Now, you talked about some of the criticism that Rodgers took over the last 2 weeks. Sacked 8 times. Was he holding onto the ball too long against Minnesota? He told us Friday, I'm playing quarterback the way I know how to. And his head coach, Mike McCarthy, said Aaron's strength is his decision-making. He does not have a time clock issue.
I don't think he does either. Minnesota is a very difficult place to play, and there was a lot of reasons why they had 8 sacks. It wasn't just on Aaron Rodgers.
4 receivers set, 2nd down and 19. Down goes Rodgers. Back at the 30-yard line, Cliff Averill. Loss of 10 on the play. Copeland Bryant slow to get up.
Well, the big thing here is look at where all the linebackers are. They come up inside the A-gap between the guard center area. Now, Alan Barber, the right tackle, has got to come down inside. You've got to be aware of what's going on. And for some reason, he did not come down inside, and he turned Cliff Averill loose right to Aaron Rodgers.
On game day,
the Monopoly game is back, and it's on. Look.
Cliff Averill with the sack. 5 sacks last year and his rookie season out of Purdue. Lions medical staff working on Copeland Bryant. Lions rest only 6 defensive linemen today. 3rd down and 28. Rodgers over the middle to Jennings. And the Packers will send out the punting unit. Gain of 5.
Let's go back to that sack. Now, we talked about this before with Aaron Rodgers. There's a lot of reasons the linebackers walk up into the A-gaps, but watch the focus by Alan Barber outside. He has to know that he's got to go down inside. You've called everybody down. Just that little hesitation allows Cliff Averill to get right inside. Now, when you have 8 sacks in a game, it's not going to be because of one reason. There's a number of reasons.
Jeremy Campanos punting to Dennis Northcutt. Takes a Packers roll and will be down at the 24-yard line. There was a flag.
After the play was over, personal foul, face mask, kicking team, number 55. 15-yard penalty at the end of the run. First down.
That's on Desmond Bishop, the 6th Green Bay penalty of this first quarter. Back in Green Bay, 14-0 lead for the Packers. Late first quarter. Tomorrow, Game 3 of the American League Championship Series as the scene shifts to the West Coast. The New York Yankees with a 2-0 lead over the Los Angeles Angels. Coverage of Game 3 of the ALCS begins tomorrow at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific in high definition, only on Fox. Yankees will send Andy Pettitte to the mound against the Angels. Garrett Weaver, they played 13 innings last night in the rain. And the Yankees won Game 2.
Freezing rain, Kenny. That was freezing rain.
Freezing rain in the Bronx. This is Aaron Brown. And Brown is into Packers territory. The rookie out of TCU, 6th-round draft pick, picks up the first Lions first out of the game, gain of 14.
But that play was made by Bryant Johnson, the wide receiver. He had one of the longest blocks I've ever seen. You've got the reverse, and he's going up against Al Harris, and Al doesn't move at all, so he's engaged with him the entire time while that reverse comes around and did a great job blocking on the outside.
Number 48 on first down. Culpepper looking for his first completion, and there it is to Dennis Northcutt. And Northcutt has another Lions first down, a gain of 19.
Down here at the bottom of the screen, working against Al Harris, little stutter and go. Now Al turns to look inside to find the ball because he thinks it's going to be thrown deep. Chops the feet, comes out of it. Nice little route by Dennis Northcutt.
First and 10 from the Packers 30. They fake the reverse. Culpepper looking to set up the screen. He was under pressure from Charles Woodson.
Dante Culpepper is yelling that they were holding this wide receiver who was supposed to get the ball. Officials aren't going for it though, Moot. And usually they don't, unless you're a playoff team, and when things start going bad, it seems like it just carries over and you don't get any calls going your way. The situation that Detroit's in.
Smith in the backfield, 2nd and 10. This is Smith up the middle. And Smith takes it down to the 21-yard line. Gain of 9. Tari Bigby made the tackle.
Well, Detroit, I wonder if they recognize something, because they really had Green Bay confused right here. I mean, Eric Campman, he's trying to get it sorted out. All of a sudden, he drops way out to cover his slot receiver. And then the opposite side of the ball, they had too many guys lined up. I mean, Detroit had a good play called, but that could have even been more productive. Green Bay just a real difficult time trying to get lined up on that last snap.
I don't think Dennis Northcutt wanted to go and slow buck Aaron Campman. It had nothing to do with him.
Lions use their first timeout. 20 seconds remaining, first quarter. Northcutt in the starting lineup today, in the absence of Calvin Johnson.
Kind of disappointed, haven't had an opportunity to see Calvin Johnson live and in-person play. Was looking forward to the game today. Everything you hear about Calvin Johnson, just rave reviews about his athletic ability and what he can do on the field, but then to talk to his teammates and find out how good of a guy he is, how good of a teammate he is on top of that.
3rd down and 1. Culpepper looking to throw, and it's out of bounds, intended for Bryant Johnson. Al Harris on the coverage.
Well, we had a lot of play action in the backfield on this on the 3rd and short, but nobody got fooled. Aaron Campman coming in from the offensive right side, and that's when he's got to take advantage of those opportunities. When he gets a running back on him in protection, he has to recognize those. That's one of the benefits that he'll find playing in this 3-4 defense is that he'll get matched up at times with running backs.
Lions going for it on 4th and 1. The toss to Smith. Looks to cut it back inside, and he is stopped. Ray Matthews, the initial contact. The Packers stopping the Lions on 4th down.
Jim Schwartz wants to be a big physical run team, but he's not there yet. This is his first year. He doesn't have the pieces in place right now, and when you don't have the pieces in place, these are the types of plays you're going to run. You're going to try and trick people, use your speed to the outside. Green Bay not fooled at all. They've got 4 guys out there. Great positional play. Contain holds his spot, forces Kevin Smith back inside, and here comes the pursuit.
Packers take over from their own 22. Final seconds, first quarter. Grant fights his way back to the line of scrimmage. And that will do it for the first quarter here in Green Bay. Packers lead 14-0. Fox NFL Sunday will return after these messages from your local Fox station.
You know, Goosey, if you had a Detroit Lions uniform on, Jim Schwartz might take him up on it. They're getting thin, but...
Yeah, they got 5 defensive linemen right now. They're going down. Moose, I didn't look like that with my helmet, did I?
No, not at all. I don't think.
And he's smart. He wears a number not assigned to a current Packers player. He's ready. Number 93. Rodgers fires, and the catch is made at the 39-yard line by Donald Lee for a Green Bay first down, a gain of 18. And Aaron Rodgers is now 13 of 14 today.
He's in a rhythm. He's throwing the ball well. He's seeing the field well. And I think Tony's right. You know, you get the protection, and all of a sudden you have the confidence. When you watched him on film, he really wasn't confident because he never really set his feet. I think he always felt like he had to be ready to move out of that pocket.
Number 40 on first down, Grant. And Grant brought down after a short game by the former Packer, Brady Jackson.
Someone's got to help him out, get that turf off his
Yeah, you got to get that out.
Nobody's even helping him out.
It's stuck there pretty good, too.
Rodgers on 2nd and 9 to Driver. William James makes the tackle, a penalty marker after Driver gains 6. Driver having words with the rookie out of Wisconsin, DeAndre Levy.
Offside, defense, number 75, lining up in the neutral zone, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
It's on Turk McBride. Saints out to a 20-3 lead over the Giants in New Orleans.
Everybody talks about the Saints offense, but I really think the big improvement down there this year is that Saints defense. That will be the difference maker as this season goes forward. They've always been able to put up points and throw the football.
Under new coordinator Greg Williams. 2nd down and 4, it's Grant. Grant gains 2 out to the 47-yard line, so 3rd down and a long 2 coming up.
That run game really isn't there for Green Bay right now. I mean, you know, they're trying to take shots in the middle of the field, trying to get a little run game going so they can open it up, but Ryan Grant's having a tough time getting it started.
Three wide receivers, Driver in the slot. Packers must get to midfield for a first down. Rodgers, quick release intended for Driver. Pass was behind him as we head to Los Angeles once again, and Kurt Menefee. Kurt?
The only bad thing that happened for the Saints today is they've missed an extra point. Otherwise, everything perfect. Drew Brees, 36 yards to Robert Meacham. Bree's already 2 touchdown passes. The previous one to Jeremy Shockey, who has to be the happiest guy in America today. They lead 20-3.
It's always nice to go back and play your former team that let you go.
Shockey injured during the Giants' run to the Super Bowl 2 years ago. As Northcutt loses the football. But it looks like the Lions recover. 39-yard punt. Early second quarter in Green Bay. 14-0 Packers.
3.
Packers and Lions, the longest continuous rivalry in the NFL dating back to the early 30s. There's Matthew Stafford, the first overall draft pick this past April, missing his second consecutive start.
And with Detroit's bye week coming up, hopefully the same thing that happened for Green Bay. You get him an opportunity to get rested and get back on the field coming off that bye.
Lions start from their own 12-yard line. Hand off to Smith. And Smith gains a yard out to the 13. Charles Woodson made the tackle. Stafford listed as the third quarterback today.
Well, which is an improvement from last week. Last week he came out before the game and actually took the pads off and was inactive. And you can see he's still got a little bit of a hitch in the giddy-up right there. So
Great kid, though, when we met with him. Grew up around the corner from you, too, right, Moose?
Yeah, right down there, Highland Park, right outside of Dallas, Texas.
Penalty markers on 2nd and 9.
False start. Offense, number 84. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
The rookie tight end out of Oklahoma State, Brandon Pettigrew.
Sometimes when you call a pass and the rookie's going to get the ball, sometimes they get a little anxious.
And with Brandon Pettigrew, it might be the chance that he's going to get to knock somebody off the line of scrimmage, too.
He is a big man.
2nd down and 14. Culpepper complete to Northcutt. Tramon Williams the tackle. Gain of 5 on the play.
Strong hands by Tramon Williams on that. I thought Dennis Northcutt was going to spin out of that tackle. He got up a little bit high around the shoulder pads, was able to hold on. If Dennis Northcutt spins out of that, there's not many Packers that part of the field to prevent a big play from happening.
A lot of green.
3rd down and 9. Lions must get to the 22 for a first down. Culpepper throws, and it's incomplete, intended for the tight end Pettigrew.
Well, you can see the confidence that the quarterbacks have in Brandon. That was good coverage by Green Bay as Brandon Pettigrew goes down the seam. But he, we talked about Jermichael Finley. Brandon Pettigrew the same way. That's a heck of a throw by Dante Culpepper. He got it in there between those defenders. Brandon's got to make that catch.
And now with Jordy Nelson getting his bruised knee checked out, Tramon Williams is back deep for the Packers. Nick Harris coming out of his end zone.
Ooh.
And the Packers will have terrific field position, a penalty flag, as the punt was down at the Lions' 36-yard line. Only a 22-yard kick.
During the kick, holding, kicking team, number 96. 10-yard penalty added to the end of the run. Packers keep the ball. First down.
Joe Boger said kicking team, but he pointed the Packers' way. We'll get it sorted out. 14-0 Green Bay. Back in Green Bay, Packers starting a drive in Lions territory for the second time from the Detroit 46. Packers lead the Lions 14-0. Off the fake to Grant. Rodgers complete to Greg Jennings. Jennings to the 29-yard line, his 5th catch, a gain of 17.
Oh, they made that look easy. I mean, just tons of room for Greg Jennings to work on the outside. A great route. All starts with the play fake up front. If you can run the ball, then you're going to be able to throw great play action. You can see the linebackers pulled up. Now watch the amount of room from the linebackers. Watch all of them step up. Now look at that big cavity right there for Greg Jennings to work in. Boy, they made that look easy.
Jennings came into the game now with only 11 receptions. He has 5 today as Grant takes it down to the 26-yard line, a gain of 3. There's Jennings, Michigan native, attended Western Michigan University. Career high 80 receptions last season. Second down and 7, empty backfield. From the 26, another penalty flag as the catch is made by Jennings, and he's forced out of bounds by William James. This will be the 8th penalty against the Packers today.
Illegal formation, offense. Number 76 was not lined up on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. We play second down.
Chad Clifton again, 3rd time he has been flagged.
Well, he should know that, you know, if the officials are on this, Detroit must have saw something on film and said, listen, Chad Clifton lines up deep. You got to keep an eye on it. He has to have his head more forward so it breaks the plane of the center. He can't be back behind the center. They'll call that formation right there. They'll be getting flags all day. He's got to get up on the line of scrimmage.
Rodgers on 2nd and 12. With time, it's Grant into the backfield, and a tremendous tackle is made by Kevin Hobbs, former Seahawk, gain of 3, setting up 3rd down and 9.
Trust is such a big part of the game of football, and one of the things you do is trust your quarterback, not to lead you into a bad area. Man, I think Aaron Rodgers would like to have that one back. That's like, it comes off your fingertips and you're like, oh no, Ryan's going to take a big hit on this.
You ever have a talk with Troy about that?
No, Troy was great at it. He was phenomenal. I mean, if the ball was coming your way, lay out and go get it. He never led you down the wrong path.
3rd down and 9. Packers must get to the 19. Rodgers steps up and then is tackled at the 27-yard line after a gain of 1 by Julian Peterson. So the Packers will send out the field goal unit.
Chad Clifton out there. 4 defensive linemen. I'll tell you what, Detroit is doing a pretty good job of getting a good rush with only 4 guys on the line of scrimmage. And that's something they need to do. Give that secondary a little bit of a chance.
And Green Bay's doing a real poor job of jumping out to a 14-point lead and kind of gotten it on cruise control right now.
46-yard attempt. Mason Crosby from the left hash. It is good. The Packers working with a short field, extend their lead over the Lions to 17-0.
100 years of engine.
17-0 Packers. They're in Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers, 15 of 17, 2 touchdown passes. One to James Jones, the other to John Kuhn. Crosby kicks off. Taken at the 3 by Williams. And Williams down shy of the 20. Good coverage by the Packers. 16-yard return. Back in Green Bay with the Packers leading the Lions 17-0. Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Tony Saragusa as we send a shout out to the 32nd Infantry Brigade combat team of the Wisconsin National Guard in Baghdad.
A big shout out.
Culpepper chased by Matthews, throws it away.
Had the green and gold balloons in the background there.
They were fired up.
You can be happy with the score right now, but there's there's that feeling out there right now, Tony, that everything's good. Okay, you know, hey, we had our bye week, we got some of those issues corrected, but I mean, they've been very sloppy with their penalties. Had great field position on the last drive offensively. They had to settle for a field goal. I don't know about this right now.
We're talking about the Packers. 8 first-half penalties, yet they lead 17-0. Smith, first down and more. Kevin Smith finally forced out of bounds after a gain of 19.
You know what, Moose, you're absolutely right down here on the field. Very flat. You can see it in this play right here.
Well, they've got everybody up on the line of scrimmage, Tony, so once Kevin Smith gets outside, if A.J. Hawk's going to step up into that hole, he's got to make a play. They got the outside sealed off and gave Kevin Smith the corner.
That 19-yard gain matching Smith's longest run of the season. There's the 10 from the 38. Off the play fake. Culpepper rolling right, and then he throws out of bounds. Looking for the tight end, Will Heller.
Culpepper pass incomplete to Heller. Chiller,
Just something I'm really not used to seeing Aaron Campbell on coverage on the outside. Just doesn't seem like he looks comfortable. He's indecisive right now whether he's going to run or pass, and he's just running out there with, I don't know. It looks weird to me, Moose, to see him out there, you know, covering Felton instead of rushing the passer.
Second and 10, Smith out to the 42. Goose was passionate about it during our open, the subject of Campman moving to linebacker in the 3-4.
Well, you know, he's not going to complain. He's a professional. He's going to do his job. He might be frustrated from time to time, but there's a nickel situation. He's still in a two-point stance. It's going to take him a while to get adjusted. It happened to Greg Ellis in Dallas, Jason Taylor down in Miami. You take a pass rush defensive end who's that tweener guy, and you come in and you put your 3-4 defense in, and he's the guy that has the most trouble with that adjustment.
There he is in a two-point stance again, rushing the passer.
Third down and 7. Culpepper in trouble, down, back at the 36-yard line. Again, it's Clay Matthews.
Tell you, Clay Matthews is all over the field today. Doing a great job out there, rushing the passer, running plays down.
It's a nice field to get back to Dante Culpepper. There's a lot of big guys in there. For a rookie linebacker to have that feel to get to the ball, that's a nice job by Clay.
Second sack for Matthews today. Javon Williams for the injured Jordy Nelson. Once again, back deep for the Packers. 5.5 to go. Second quarter. Punt from Harris. Taken out to 26 by Williams. Williams up the middle. Across midfield. He gets by the punter, Harris, remains in bounds, and then is finally forced out. Ball spotted back at the 29. He stepped out a little bit earlier. Tramon Williams with a 45-yard return.
We've got another Detroit Lion player down on the field. Good hustle by Nick Harris. You know, as the punter, you're the last line of defense. You're the safety. And Tramon Williams breaks to the outside. You know, use the sideline as your friend, as your teammate. Force him over there. Get him pushed out of bounds.
Cliff Averill, the injured Lion, back up on his feet.
Oh, we see there. We see a little bit of poor tackling by Detroit, too. A couple of opportunities to get Tramon down before that, and boy, I tell you, Goose, that defensive line of the Detroit Lions, they can't take any more injuries.
No, they only got 5 guys right now that could play, and if Cliff Averill goes down, I mean, that leaves only 4 guys. That's no rotation. That could be devastating for this Detroit Lion team.
They lost Copeland Bryant earlier. So following the 45-yard return, Packers start a drive in Lions territory for the third time in this first half. The toss to Grant. And Grant takes it down inside the 25-yard line. Julian Peterson made the tackle. Gain of 5 for Ryan Grant.
They need to turn this into a touchdown. I mean, they came out and had a great start, and it becomes cliche. You know, we want to get out, we want to start fast. Well, Green Bay was able to do that. Even having the opening kickoff return called back, they didn't lose their composure. They get out to a 14-0 lead, but now it just kind of sat there. As you pointed out, Kenny, 3 times they've started in Detroit territory.
Rodgers on 2nd and 5. Dumps it off to Grant. And Grant picks up the Packers' first down. DeAndre Levy made the tackle. But Grant able to move the chains.
A nice, quick decision by Aaron Rodgers. You go through your progression, it's not there, dump it down. Ryan Grant was left alone in the underneath coverage.
Good to see Cliff Averill back on the field. Injured during that last punt return. From the Lions, 16. Grant inside the 10, down to the 9-yard line. Grant gaining 7.
Good finish on that run. Good finish on that run. Watch Ryan Grant at the end of this run. Gets his shoulders squared north and south and then lowers the shoulder.
Right there, just going and exploding through the defender, getting an extra 2 yards.
Saying hello to an old teammate.
Manuel. 2nd and 3. Rodgers spun around. Down he goes. Back at the 20-yard line by Julian Peterson.
Did we miss a block up front? Did we not have the protection set the right way? How does Julian Peterson come that clean? He's standing up.
Nobody accounts for him. Look at this.
Get him down.
3rd sack for the Lions today, guys. Peterson with 1.5.
The one thing you shouldn't see coming out of the bye week are breakdowns in protection. I mean, physical mistakes happen during a game, but mental mistakes will drive coaches crazy.
3rd down and 14 following the sack. The screen to Lee. As we said, now the Packers need to reach the end zone here, but again, Mike McCarthy forced to send out the field goal unit due to that sack.
It's negative plays, and the big culprit for them today has been the penalty. You know, they had some very, very inopportune penalties, and now we've got a couple of breakdowns and protections we've seen here in the 2nd quarter where we've had some guys come free.
That sack killed them.
Packers will let the clock run down to the 2-minute warning. 8 penalties. Rodgers has been sacked 3 times. Packers were inside the 10, but the sack forced them back to the 20. When we return, they will set up for a field goal attempt. $17-0 Packers. Mason Crosby out to attempt a 28-yard field goal. Crosby hit from 46 earlier. Matt Flynn places it down. Crosby is 2 for 2. So the Packers extend their lead over Jim Schwartz's Lions to 20-0. Next week, week 7 in the National Football League at 1 Eastern. Brett Favre leads the Minnesota Vikings into Pittsburgh to take on the defending Super Bowl champion Steelers on Fox, followed by the second half of our doubleheader. The Dallas Cowboys host the Atlanta Falcons. It all begins at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific with the Ford Drive 1 Fox NFL Sunday pregame show.
Brett Favre's got him 14-0 against Baltimore heading in at the half. Pittsburgh 14-7 against Cleveland. getting ready to head in at halftime. Going to be a good game. I'm interested to see how this Steeler defense plays against Minnesota's offense. What do you try to do? You try and stop Adrian Peterson. Everybody always says you got to stop the run first. And now with Brett Favre,
you got to stop them both now.
Yeah, right. I want to see, because I think that Pittsburgh presents a huge problem for offenses defensively, and I'm excited to see how Dick LeBeau decides to play.
Derek Williams. Williams stopped shy of the 20. Coming up, the Visa Halftime Report with Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy. They will be along with scores and highlights, and the Fox Sports ticker will have all the latest stats. That's coming up on the Visa Halftime Report. The Vikings and Steelers on Fox next week, and then in 2 weeks on Fox, Brett Favre and the Vikings right here at Lambeau Field. First and 10 from the 21-yard line for Dante Culpepper and the Lions. The pass is caught by Derek Williams, rookie out of Penn State, third-round pick, gain of 7.
Second and 3 for the 28.
Lions have 2 timeouts. Second down and 3. Lions only 3 first downs in this first half. Culpepper can't find anyone. Campman coming. Culpepper fires across the field. Wow, the catch is made by Dennis Northcutt for a first down.
Nice play by both Dante Culpepper and Dennis Northcutt. Dante Culpepper extends the play, and then a great throw across the field. Excellent on the sideline by Dennis Northcutt.
Threw it all the way across the field, a gain of 10. A minute 20 remaining in the half. First and 10 from the 38. This time the pass is short, intended for Derek Williams. Jim Schwartz, in his first season as Lions head coach, spent the last 10 years in Tennessee, the last 8 as Jeff Fisher's defensive coordinator. Scott Linehan, the former head coach of the St. Louis Rams. Culpepper on second and 10. Nice tackle by Charles Woodson on Northcutt, no gain.
Yeah, very well played by Charles Woodson. You're bringing pressure from the right side. He's in man-to-man coverage out to the left. You kind of force Dante Culpepper into that throw, but great coverage by Charles Woodson. Got all that pressure going away from me on the other side. Able to find his way through a couple of releases, and then a good sure tackle again on the outside. Strong hands. We've seen a couple times Packer defenders with some strong hands on their tackles.
Packers use their first timeout. 1:10 on the clock. Linehan and Culpepper, of course, together in Minnesota.
He would love to be able to find some of that magic this afternoon. Dante Culpepper, 5 of 13 for 42 yards with that interception. Aaron Rodgers just off to a great start, 17 of 19 with the 2 touchdowns. But my big question, my big concern is there's just been a lull here in the second quarter. Green Bay got off to a great start, had an opportunity to really take control of this game in the second quarter, and really didn't do anything.
Third down and 9. Lions must get to the 48. Pass over the top, and another good tackle by Tramon Williams on Brian Johnson. Johnson stopped about 3 yards shy of a first down, so the Lions forced a punt.
That's that other element of bringing pressure. Everybody always talks about, you hear defensive guys, we need to bring more pressure. Well, number one, you've got to have the people that can find their way through on the blitz. You've got to have a group of guys who are good blitzers, good cover guys, and then your cover guys have to be good tacklers, and we've seen it several times today. Tramon Williams has done a couple of nice, had a couple of nice tackles in man-to-man coverage. We saw Charles Woodson on the last one. When you pressure and you get put in man-to-man, a missed tackle on the outside can take a 5-yard play into a 50-yard touchdown.
Packers using their second timeout. Stop the clock with 1:04 remaining. And now the Packers send Charles Woodson back deep. But the Lions are not going to punt. The punter Harris under center. Nick Harris takes the snap, tosses it back to Andre Brown, and he is tackled back at the 43-yard line. So instead of punting, the Lions run a play with the punter Harris at quarterback.
I don't know if that was that good of an idea. Now field position once again for Green Bay.
You have to move so much quicker. If you're going to do something like this where you're actually going to bring your punt team out, bring your punter up underneath center, you've got to do it quick. You've got to catch Green Bay where they can't line up. If you get out there on the field and all of a sudden Green Bay has been coached well and they get lined up correctly, you call a timeout. I did not like that call at all by the Detroit Lions.
So the Packers with one timeout remaining from the Lions 43. Complete. Rodgers to Jermichael Finley.
Jermichael, get out of bounds.
Well,
You're right on the sideline.
Did not get in bounds. Gain of 5. Clock continues to run.
That's a young mistake right there.
From the 38, pump fake from Rodgers. Now he throws over the middle, and the catch is made. Finley redeeming himself, makes the catch, and takes it down to the Lions' 8, a 29-yard pass play.
Aaron Rodgers did a great job of punt faking and getting all those linebackers to bite.
Now the spike by Rodgers. Clock stops with 18 seconds.
Oh, great job. I mean, the slant is such a fixture in this offense, and Aaron Rodgers comes out. He wants to go slant to his left. You'll watch as he gets the ball, gets back in. He's checking the slant. It's not there. Very quick back to the other side. You know, he moved several players in that line coverage. And there's that big target, Jermichael Finley. Well, he's tough coming down the middle of the field.
Second and goal, 18 seconds remaining. First half.
There you go. I got it.
Rodgers in trouble, sacked for the 4th time today. Back at the 14-yard line. And now the Packers are forced to use their final timeout.
I am really, really surprised at how successful Detroit has been at getting to Aaron Rodgers. You've got Chad Clifton back in the lineup, which allows you to get your other players back to their normal positions. Yeah, Jason Spitz is out at center, but Scott Wells has been playing there. But the big thing is Detroit, 3 of their 4 starting defensive linemen are inactive today. And they've still been able to get good pressure all first half on Aaron Rodgers.
There's Turk McBride on the left, number 75. A sack and a half for McBride. A sack and a half for Peterson. And a sack for Averill, 4 in all for the Lions. And now the Packers are out of timeouts. 3rd and goal from the 13. Empty backfield. Rodgers throws it out of bounds, intended for Brett Swain. So now the Packers will send out the field goal unit once again.
A couple opportunities late in this second quarter to just really take control of this game. And the Packers keep missing out on opportunities. They keep kicking field goals. Jim Schwartz really dodged the bullet there. I did not like that fake punt call. And Green Bay is only going to get 3 points out of it.
31-yard attempt from the right hash. Mason Crosby 3 for 3. But again, Packers 3 times have had a chance to score a touchdown driving deep into Lions territory, but have been held to field goals.
Well, it's cliche to hear teams say we want to get off to a quick start. Everybody wants to get off to a quick start. It's what you do after that quick start. Can you sustain it? And the Packers just came out on fire. Big touchdown pass to James Jones. Colin Jenkins makes a great play on a screen. The touchdown for John Kuhn is 14-0. But then what are you going to do? Now you've kind of just sat here. You've gotten into this big lull. You have several big plays to start this game, but you got to continue to follow that up. And you've been given opportunities. I mean, you've been in Detroit's territory the majority of the second quarter, but you start kicking field goals.
Packers have had the ball for over 20 minutes. Lions only 79 yards of offense, 4 first downs. Green Bay with a 23-0 lead. Five seconds remaining first half here in Green Bay. Scooped up by Casey Fitzsimmons. Back up tight end. No flag, so the first half comes to an end here at Lambeau Field. Donald Driver sets a franchise record for receptions. Packers lead the Lions 23-0. The Visa halftime report is next. We welcome you back to Green Bay as we get set for the second half. Packers leading the Lions by the score of 23-0. Darryl, the DirecTV first half numbers.
Well, obviously it's been all Packers, but the big issue right there are the sacks. I really thought that was going to be an issue that Green Bay would make some big progress on with Chad Clifton being back in the starting lineup. 20 sacks through their first 4 games, but I don't know if it's the number that kind of jumps out at you. 2 of them, guys have come scot-free, which is a breakdown in protection, which you shouldn't have after the bye week. But you're going up against the Detroit Lions, who are paper thin at the defensive line, and they're still finding a way to get to Aaron Rodgers. So,
you know what, Moose, talking to Mike McCarthy going in, that's exactly what he said. He said, you know, sometimes teams are going to get pressure on you, and that's not what I'm concerned about. I am concerned about miscommunication and complete breakdowns where my quarterback is exposed. That's something that we have to correct in the second half. And then I also asked him about all the penalties, and he just looked at me with a smirk, and he said, that's something I'm going to have to go and handle right now in the locker room. That is unacceptable for this team. So he seemed like he was more upset about the penalties than the pressure.
And Goose, the Packers have been among the most penalized teams in the National Football League all season long. 8 in the first half today. Derek Williams on the return. Brett Swain, the tackle on special teams. So the Lions begin the second half on offense without Matthew Stafford, without Calvin Johnson, down by 23. What can they possibly do to try and get back into this game?
Well, kind of stay with your plan. And when we talked to Jim Schwartz yesterday, one of the things he talked about was when he was in the AFC South with Indianapolis in the division, is a lot of people started to chase Indianapolis when they got out to early leads. Stay with your plan, all right? Give the ball to Kevin Smith and stick to what you're doing. Run some play action. You don't have Calvin Johnson on the outside. Don't try and get it all in one bunch.
From the 23-yard line, Smith is met in the backfield by Nick Collins.
But if you're going to do that, if you're going to stick to your plan and give the ball to Kevin Smith, it helps to block the guys on the other side to help him out a little bit.
We have seen some terrific tackling by the Packers today.
And one of the things that they've done a great job is tackling, you know, in one-on-one situations, man-to-man, when they bring the pressure. Right there again, you get a guy free, and he's making sure tackles. So some things that Mike McCarthy's not going to be happy with, but I think that Don Capers, the defensive coordinator, will be very pleased with how his group has tackled.
Second down at 13. Culpepper can't find it to run downfield, and he will take it out of bounds. He pulled up a bit. Out of bounds at the 26 as he limped off.
You wonder if now maybe you feel it start to go. All right, I'm gonna start to accelerate. I'm gonna pull. Whoa! There goes the hammy. There goes the hammy. Let me slow down a little bit. Now, where are you at physically? I mean, are you on the fringe of something happening? I think I get Drew Stanton out there right now, because you could have something bad happen to Dante Culpepper on the next snap. If you get pressure right now and he's got to accelerate to get away, he's not going to be able to keep that hamstring in check.
It's only going to get worse.
Oh.
There's Stanton, third season out of Michigan State.
He's a big guy, huh? We were out on the field before the game.
6'3", 230 pounds, number 2 on the depth chart. Stafford, the third quarterback today, due to a knee injury. Again, Smith gang tackled Brandon Chiller. The first Packer, as you saw Culpepper reach for the hamstring, and here comes Drew Stanton.
Yeah, he really struggled just to get the handoff on that last play. So the only thing that's going to happen for Dante at this point is it's going to get worse. So.
And there's Stafford. Stanton, second-round draft pick back in '07, spent his rookie season on injured reserve. Played in 4 games last year. Attempted 17 passes, completing 9. Stanton, a pump fake. Now he throws, and it's broken up. Brian Johnson is hurt. Tramon Williams got a hand on it. Nick Collins with the hit.
We talked about it in the first half, the trust. It's a big part of the game of football, whether it's linemen trusting each other in protection. On the defensive side, Tony, you've always talked to me about trust that you have to have. This is a situation where you run a double move, that you have trust that your quarterback is not going to lead you into a position where you're going to take a big hit. And I applaud Nick Collins because it's a point to go.
Southwest Airlines, we love bags.
Back in Green Bay following the hit by Nick Collins on Bryant Johnson. Johnson replaced by John Standiford, re-signed by the Lions this week. Drew Stanton remains in at quarterback for Dante Culpepper. Third down and 9, and the play is blown dead.
False start, offense, number 16, 5-yard penalty, third down.
That's Standiford with the Lions last year, cut during the preseason and re-signed this week. Third down and 14. Lions must get to the 40 for a first down. Stanton under pressure from Cullen Jenkins. And his pass was short, intended for Northcutt.
Dante Culpepper still trying to loosen up that hamstring, but Drew Stanton is in there now. And as a young guy, we saw the last play where, trying to build that trust here. The ability to know what's there. It's a 3-man pressure. You don't need to break contain all the way to the left. You're a right-handed quarterback. The last thing you want to be do is running to your left. So just slide in the pocket. That will come with time.
I think you saw Aaron Campman off to his right, Moose.
The punt was nearly blocked by Desmond Bishop. Charles Woodson on the return for the Packers from the 22. Woodson stayed on his feet momentarily and then was brought down by Zach Follett. 52-yard punt by Harris, no return.
Dante Culpepper over on the side trying to keep that hamstring warm.
Oh no, that wasn't a very good pedaling there. I think that thing's bothering him more.
It doesn't look very promising.
Yeah, it looks like it's getting worse.
We saw Drew Stanton huddling with offensive coordinator Scott Linehan. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers go to work from their own 22-yard line. More flags.
Well, they got the message at halftime, Goose.
Wow. They're at home. It's completely quiet.
False start, offense, number 76.
Wow.
5-yard penalty, first down.
4th penalty today.
You talked about taking the rust off, Moose. I think it's a lot more rust than we thought. I mean, line it up off the line of scrimmage and just, moving before the snap count. That's twice already on it.
Ten Packer penalties in all, forcing Green Bay back to the 17-yard line. On 1st and 15, Ryan Grant. Grant out across the 20 to the 21. DeAndre Levy made the tackle, gain of 4.
And that's been one of the big problems for the Packer offense, in the early part of the season is, we've talked about the number of sacks, and some of those times it's first down when they're getting sacked, and they're getting penalties on first down. So they're starting drives with, first and 15s, second and 17s, and it puts them so far behind the chains that it impacts their play call.
Rodgers on 2nd and 10. With time, goes across the field, and the catch is made by Donald Driver at the 38-yard line, an 18-yard pass play. And for Donald Driver, his 3rd reception today.
Moose, I know you like play fakes, but play fakes to nobody, that really doesn't work too much. But Aaron goes through with it. It's a little miscommunication in the backfield. Why it matters.
Try to explain that one to your coach. Coach, I got fooled by the fake in the backfield there. He wasn't giving it to anybody.
A fake to Aaron. Give to Grant. Maybe Rodgers should have faked that one as well.
Yeah, he should have. Talking about this offense, 10 penalties, 4 sacks, and they're still shutting out the Lions 23-0. I'll tell you, talk about people who go and trip a little bit. This offense has tripped a lot, but they seem to be doing the right things to get points on the board.
Second down and 14, more flags. Free play for Rodgers. He throws, and the catch is made at the 45-yard line by Donald Lee. And Lee is close to a Packers first down. Gain of about 14.
That's a nice play. He can't be wrong. No matter what he does, he gets a free play out of it, right, Dow?
Yeah, but usually you don't have to work that hard. I might have just taken the sack.
He was spinning. That was like 2 or 3 spins on that one, I think.
All sides. Defense, number 92, has been declined. The result of the play will be 3rd down.
Well, unfortunately for Aaron Rodgers, some of his offensive linemen stopped, and they turned Julian Peterson loose right to him again. So what was a free play became a little bit harder.
He had to get that body around before he can get his arm back. He couldn't load his arm to get the ball downfield. He saw the receiver open early, but he's got to move them hips around so he can get a little bit behind that. Well,
now on 3rd and 1, flea flicker. Rodgers, Driver. .27 yards and a Packer first down.
Little handoff to Ryan Grant on the little toss up inside, pitches it back, checks to make sure everything's secure. Donald Driver crossing the field wide open to the offensive left. But you know what I like more about that on the left? After the play, Aaron Rodgers got everybody hustled up to get him in the huddle and keep moving.
From the 25, it's Driver again, and that is career reception number 600. First Packer in history to reach 600 career receptions, 5 today.
Here's that little flea flicker gadget play. You go down, you act like you're going to be in run support, you drive the safety off, and then break across the field. Boy, he really turned Marquand Manuel all around.
Second down and 7. James Jones, who scored the first Packers touchdown. And Jones has another Green Bay first down.
And we've seen that a couple times, and it's a big part of this Packer offense that, if you get everything packed inside and you're going to go man-to-man coverage on the outside and play off, if you're going to give a big cushion to the receiver, Aaron Rodgers is going to pop up and get it to him right away. James Jones makes a nice run after that catch.
How about Rodgers' numbers today? 24 of 28. He's 5 of 5 on this drive. Number 14 on first down. Rodgers dumps it off, and it's dropped. That's another area as Ryan Grant could not hold on. But coming into this game, we talked about the sacks, the holding penalties. Packers led the league in drops over the first 5 weeks.
It was a lot of negative plays that were the big concern going into the bye week. They led the league in sacks. They led the league in drops. And those are just missed opportunities. It's chances when your offense is going to have to leave the field and your punt team is coming on the field. And it's things within your control.
Rodgers on 2nd and 10 to the end zone for Jennings. And did Jennings make the catch in bounds? No.
He almost made a heck of a catch.
Aaron Rodgers puts it in the right spot. Outside, right there. Oh, just can't bring it in.
Marquand Manuel, watch his hand when he goes back, right there. His right hand gets back and makes contact with the ball. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
Timeout is called by Aaron Rodgers.
First time.
So when we come back, a 3rd down and 10 for the Packers from the Lions, 14.
One of the things we really like.
23-0 Packers now. Green Bay in the red zone in the first half. Only 1 touchdown and 3 trips. Now facing a 3rd and 10 from the 14.
They've had their chances, but they just have walked away with field goals.
More movement, more flags.
Oh my goodness.
Looked like Detroit lined up offsides.
Well, just to make sure they wanted to get into the neutral zone too.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense, number 92. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
That's Cliff Averill.
I mean, as a defensive lineman, you got to put your hand down where the ball is. And as long as your head is behind your hand, you're not going to be offsides. I don't know what these guys are doing there. It seems like they're, it's the first time they ever played football. Put your hand down, make sure your head is behind your hand, and you'll be onside. Very simple.
3rd down and 5. Rodgers to Driver, and he's tackled well shy of the first down marker by the rookie out of Western Michigan, Louis Delmas. So once again, the Packers will send out the field goal unit.
I really think that Green Bay is very fortunate that Matthew Stafford and Calvin Johnson are not on the field today. Because it could be a lot stickier right now. I mean, there's just so many missed opportunities, and yeah, they're probably going to be okay this afternoon, but this type of offense will come back and bite them down the road. When Detroit would be giving them fits right now if they had everybody they could put on the field offensively that was healthy.
Crosby from the right hash, 26-yard attempt. And the kick is good. So Mason Crosby is 4 for 4. But for the 3rd time, Packers held out of the end zone in the red zone. Tomorrow, Game 3 of the American League Championship Series as the Yankees and Angels head west. The Yankees lead the series 2-0. Our coverage on Fox begins at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific, in high definition only on Fox. Game 3, Yankees and Angels, tomorrow. Here's Mason Crosby, who has tied his career high with 4 field goals today. Packers score in the 3rd quarter for the first time. They had been outscored 27-0. Packers lead 26-0. Derek Williams on the return for the Lions. Down up to 28.
I know you're going to be surprised by this, Kenny, but there's a flag on the play.
We've been able to say that after just about every other play in this game.
Then they're going to call us on Brady Papinga. He looked like he slipped and went down low on a guy, and I don't think it really was his fault, but let's see what they call here. That's what it was, a block below the waist. We watch Brady Papinga. He tries to cut and just slips, slides into the guy. That's the penalty right there, where he slides and hits him low. You can't block a defender low like that, even if you do slip.
Personal foul, low block, number 51, kicking team. 15-yard penalty, first down.
That is the 11th Green Bay penalty today. Drew Stanton remains in at quarterback for the Lions, handing it off to Kevin Smith, gaining 3 out to the 45-yard line.
One thing we haven't seen from Detroit yet today is a throw downfield. I mean, they haven't opened this offense up at all. You know, in Green Bay, you know, when they're not threatened deep, you're going to get more guys in the box, and it's going to be harder to run the ball. And even if you don't complete it, throw downfield a little bit.
Lions have gained more yards via penalty than on offense today. Goose, the longest completion from the Lions today, 18 yards to Northcutt. Now Stanton slipped, pulls the ball down, then throws. And it is Al Harris who comes up with the interception.
You talked about it earlier, Goose, that when you're a team like Detroit and you're struggling, you're trying to turn everything around, that, you know, the penalties never go your way and the ball never bounces your way. And there's another opportunity to make a big play outside. Goes through your fingertips right into his.
Not only can we not read Al Harris's name, we could barely see his number. Second interception this season, 21st of his career. Packers start from the 29, and this is Brandon Jackson. His first carry of the season, missed the first 4 games due to an ankle injury.
Just a tough afternoon for the Detroit Lions. I mean, Drew Stanton does a great job extending this in the pocket, and then watch at the end of this. When you got an opportunity to make a big play down the field, it goes right through your fingertips. Al Harris does a good job of coming off of his guy, recognizing that the play is going off to his right, puts himself in a great position to make an interception.
Now his hair is a part of his body. If it hits out of bounds, he is out of bounds, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
I just wanted to let everybody know that.
Second down and 8. Grant bottled up. Bruce, that shows you're paying attention through the years at our seminar when we hear from the head of officiating, Mike Pereira.
Well, let me tell you something. Our seminar, I'd never miss it, ever. Very informative. Mike Pereira does a great job. We're going to miss him, and he is retiring after this year, right?
Yes.
Good man. Very, very funny man. Very powerful-looking man also.
Mike will be retiring, and one of the all-time great NFL referees, Jerry Markbright, here at Lambeau today as the supervisor of officials. We had a chance to chat with Joey earlier. Third down and 9. Rodgers wrapped up, gets rid of it, and the catch is made by Jackson, and he picks up a first down. Ernie Sims brought him down after a gain of 12. Rodgers nearly sacked for the 5th time.
Aaron Rodgers does a great job of extending this play. Back in the pocket, here comes pressure again. He moves up, moves right into everything, and that's just a heck of a throw at the end. Kevin Hobbs is like, you don't have the ball anymore? Why'd you do that?
Rodgers with that completion, over 300 yards for the 2nd time this season, 6th time in his career. Rodgers looking for Jennings. A rare incompletion for Aaron Rodgers today.
A rare covered receiver by the Detroit Lions today. Obviously, Green Bay knows that Detroit has struggled in their secondary throughout the course of the beginning of this season. And, you know, that's going to skew your play calling. You want to attack your opponent where you feel you have the best opportunity. Look at that. I mean, run to pass. Heavy, heavy pass this afternoon.
From the 42 on second down, off the play fake. Rodgers going deep for Driver. Oh, what a catch!
Oh, what a catch. Unbelievable, guys.
And a penalty marker after the sensational catch by Driver.
Pass interference, defense, number 38. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is the first down.
You always talk about guys just stepping up and making a play. DeMarcus Fagans is in great position. They battle all the way down the field, and Donald Driver just makes a play. I mean, one-handed, going to the ground. Look at that concentration.
Looks it right into his body. That's a catch like you can make, huh, Moose?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think so. I think we're going to leave that to the receivers.
I had a couple of those.
From the 21, Rodgers to Spencer Havener. He plays defense, he plays on special teams, and he plays tight end, and that's his second catch of the season. There's Driver. His 21st career 100-yard game. Broke the franchise record for receptions earlier. 7th-round pick back in '99. Caught 3 passes his entire rookie season, all in the same game against Carolina. His first career reception, no surprise, a touchdown pass from Brett Favre. And now Driver with 6:01. Jennings extends down to the 2-yard line.
That's just great effort, not having your knees touch the ground, laying out, trying to extend the ball as far as you can. Just try and sniff that end zone. Watch after he catches the ball. Jennings knows he gets hit right there. Watch how he extends his body, keeps his knees up off the ground, and they'll spot the ball where it hits the ground.
And Goose again. Goose, the Lions send in an offensive lineman, Stephen Peterman.
Well, they're down to nobody. They're down to nobody.
Peterman, number 66. First and goal from the 3. Rodgers had the ball knocked loose. It's still loose. And it looks like the Lions have recovered. Larry Foote. Rodgers sacked for the 5th time. Clifton limping away. Larry Foote, the 2-time Super Bowl champion with the Steelers, on the recovery.
He's going to come all the way from the outside. Derek College trying to pop out to get a hand on him. It's Julian Peterson off the edge, can't get it, goes back into the pile. And Chad Clifton, I mean, we talked about it at the top, how this offensive line shifted with Chad Clifton out of the lineup. We expected the protection to be much more sound this afternoon with Chad back in the lineup. And this looks like a serious injury. I mean, he got up and immediately called to the sideline.
Looks like that left leg gave a little bit.
I mean, you're kind of in a worse position than you were because Jason Spitz is inactive today. And when Chad was out, they would take Darren College, who was the left guard, move him to left tackle. Jason Spitz, who is the center, move him to left guard, and then bring Scott Wells in at the center position. Well, they're minus Jason Spitz for their adjustments on their next series.
So the Lions take over following the turnover. Credit Julian Peterson with another sack and a forced fumble. Peterson with 2.5 sacks. And now Stanton hits Brian Johnson, who was shaken up earlier. Johnson picks up a first down, tackled by Charles Woodson after a gain of 21. So good to see Brian Johnson back out on the field.
Yes, yeah, he took a big hit from Nick Collins.
In case you join us late, Dante Culpepper started the game at quarterback for the Lions, left with a hamstring injury late in the second quarter. Matthew Stafford, a dislocated kneecap, the number 3 quarterback today. as the Lions keep it on the ground. Jerome Felton, the fullback, gains 4. Out to the 40-yard line, 2nd and 6.
He plays the fullback position, but Goose, I had a chance to talk to an old teammate of yours before the game, Sam Gash, and he said that Jerome was going to get some snaps as the running back today.
Sam Gash, I'll tell you. And now that's a fullback. Moose, I know you're a big fan of Sam Gash. I got a chance to play with him in Baltimore. I mean, I'll tell you, guy who just throws his body around.
Stanton complete to Will Heller. Nick Collins, the tackle, first down, 22 yards as we head to Los Angeles and Kirk.
Kenny Albert, I know you know this because you know every stat in the world, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers hadn't had a kickoff return for a score in 31 years. Suddenly, they've got 3 in the last 3. Sammy Stroudder doing the latest, 97 yards to pull them within 7 of Carolina. Kenny?
You're absolutely right, Kurt. That is their 3rd kickoff return for a touchdown in 3 years. Stanton wrapped up, sacked, back at the 42-yard line.
Well, he's only got so much time in that pocket. He's going to have to go and get rid of that ball. He can't go and put his offensive line. There you go, Aaron. Hand in the dirt. Got that bull rush going. Comes right in. I mean, that's where he belongs. He belongs. He is a lineman. He is not a coverage guy, in my opinion. You got to have him right there in the 4-point stance, rushing the passer. That's what offensive coordinators fear.
2nd sack for Campman this season. Stanton complete to the fullback Felton for a gain of 4 as time winds down in this 3rd quarter. Packers with 3 sacks today. Matthews has 2, and now Aaron Campman on the previous play.
Hey, Darryl, when you played, did you like playing against a 3-man front better than a 4-man front, or what did you think was harder to play against?
I might have to answer that after we get the quarter break, Goose, because it's not a short, easy answer.
3 quarters in the books here in Green Bay. Packers leading the Lions by the score of 26-0. We head to the 4th quarter. Packers leading 26-0. Packers left tackle Chad Clifton injured during the last Packers drive. Third down and 10 for Drew Stanton and the Lions. Stanton sacked Al Harris. Harris with an interception and now a sack today.
Well, I think Packer fans are excited to see a little bit of pressure. It's been a while, and you know, we talked at the top about a couple of key injuries for the Packers. Unfortunately, one of those guys is back on the bench with an injury, and that's Chad Clifton. The other one, Atari Bigby, that allows them to do a little bit more. They can bring Al Harris in. You know, Charles Woodson has been active in the front. Also, the 2 cornerbacks, because Atari Bigby, along with Nick Collins, at the back end, the 2 safety positions, I think there's a lot more confidence with that pairing.
Nick Harris punting. Woodson lets it go. And it will be downed inside the 10. Early 4th quarter here in Green Bay. There's number 70, TJ Lang, replacing Chad Clifton at left tackle, a 4th-round draft pick this year out of Eastern Michigan. Grew up in Birmingham, Michigan, in Lions country. So Lang, the new left tackle. Packers start from their own 9 as Ryan Grant takes it out to the 18-yard line, a pickup of 9 for Grant.
But you know what? That's a big step in the right direction for Green Bay to have TJ Lang go in for Chad Clifton instead of kicking everybody out one spot, because when Chad got hurt before, you kind of weakened your whole left side because you played people out of position. And you know, one of the things that we were hoping to see, better protection and more production in the run game. We haven't seen that, but the fact that TJ now can step in, the coaches have confidence in him going out to the left tackle spot to hold down that position.
2nd down and 1. Again, it's Grant. Grant picks up a first down as we check in once again with Kurt Menefee. Kurt.
And the Bucs comeback continues. Jake Delhomme back to pass to the wrong team. Tenard Jackson with the interception takes it back 26 yards for the score, and suddenly it's all even at 21 as the Bucs try to get that first win of the season. Kenny Moose and Goose.
Bucs really missed Tenard Jackson over the first 4 games when he was suspended.
Yeah, we had him the first 3 weeks of the season, and they could not wait for Tenard Jackson to be able to get back on the field. I think it was one of the biggest struggles that Tampa Bay had during the start of their season was coverage breakdowns, and they were really, really thin in the secondary and could not afford to have him out of the lineup. So good to see him already making plays and helping out the Buccaneers.
Tampa Bay 0-5, Carolina 1-3. They are tied at 21. Here's Ryan Grant, breaks a tackle. Another good run out to the 28-yard line. Grant gaining 7.
Not very productive most of the afternoon, but on this drive, the running game has kind of come to life a little bit, and it's something they're going to need to do. I mean, you're in a position in the game when you need to be able to take time off the clock. You know, 26-0, you don't want to be dropping back and throwing the ball anymore. And they were really, really heavy pass run early in the game to take advantage of the Lions secondary, but now you got to hunker down and run the ball right at this front.
Aaron Rodgers has thrown for 358 yards today. You see the time of possession. 2 early touchdown passes for Rodgers as Grant is clotheslined down at the 29, and there is a flag.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 92. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Cliff Averill grabbing hold of the face mask of Ryan Grant. Under 12 minutes remaining here in Green Bay. Packers took a 14-0 lead early, and they've kicked 4 field goals since then. First and 10 from the 45-yard line. Off the fake to Grant. Rodgers' pass is picked off by Levy, DeAndre Levy. And then he
get it back.
He loses the football.
He got it.
Levy, born in Milwaukee. 3rd-round draft pick out of Wisconsin. His first NFL interception. Nice catch. Terrific day for Aaron Rodgers, but he was picked off moments ago by DeAndre Levy. So the Lions, with good field position, they will start from their own 45-yard line. Stanton on first down, complete to Northcutt. Nick Barnett makes the tackle, gain of 5.
Stanton looks pretty good in there, Moose. I'll tell you, he's pretty confident in the pocket when he gets rid of the ball fast and doesn't try to hold on to it and make big plays. And that pressure's coming at him. I mean, he's putting the ball in a spot for his receivers to catch him. He looks pretty good.
I agree.
Second down and 5. Kevin Smith up the middle for a Lions first down and more. Charles Woodson finally brings him down at the 30-yard line. A gain of 20 for Smith, his longest run this season.
Pressure, you have guys walked up into that front. All you have to do is break that first wave, and then there's a lot of separation between the D-line and the linebackers to the secondary.
From the Packers 30 on first down. Again, it's Smith. Smith down to the 26-yard line. Brandon Chiller made the tackle, gain of 4.
We talked about it, Moose. You know, when that pass game is working, it's easier to run, and when the run game is working, it's easier to pass. That's exactly what we're seeing now. Stanton threw a couple balls downfield to some wide receivers. Now linebackers are more worried about the pass than the run, and then the run starts working. So play action here.
And then Stanton throws it away. Goose, I thought you were going to continue to call the play.
You know, I'm practicing play-by-play, Kenny. You have nothing to worry about.
Good job. Now, how about the question Goose posed to you earlier, playing against a 3-4 or 4-3?
Well, you know, to me, it's just a question of whether one guy's standing up or one guy has his hand down. I think if you really take a look at it, there's not a whole lot of difference in a 3-4 and a 4-3, especially the way that sometimes that 3-4 defense gets aligned. So you just stick to your rules. From an offensive standpoint, it wasn't a big deal for us.
I played both. I went from a 3-man front to a 4-man front from Indianapolis to Baltimore, and it's a lot harder to play that 3-man front.
Penalty marker as Stanton is sacked.
Personal foul.
Face mask.
Face mask. Defense, number 56.
Nick Barnett.
15-yard penalty. First down.
So a new set of downs for the Lions, the 12th Green Bay penalty.
You'll see as Nick Barnett, number 56, comes in, just kind of reaches out, gets his hand right on it, big old yank.
Explain what that feels like.
Oh, it's painful. It's you can't even explain to people. I mean, your head just immediately turns, 90 degrees the other direction.
It's like getting whiplash if you're ever in a car accident. I mean, it just. And sometimes as a defender, I mean, you're grabbing for anything, and sometimes that's the only thing, that you can get, and they, you got to hold on and take the penalty, but it's better than him scrambling out sometimes and scoring a touchdown.
Easy for you to say.
Oh, yeah, true.
Nick Barnett, the tackle.
Let me get this straight. It's like a car accident. It's like whiplash, but sometimes it's the best thing to do because you don't want him to scramble out.
I got to cover my defensive lineman up.
If the quarterback gets in a car accident and has whiplash, I'm cool with that as long as the punter's coming on the field.
That's true.
All right,
I want to get off the field.
Again, a little bit of a different take on the defensive side than on offense. Second down and 4. Stanton's pass is caught by John Standiford, his first catch of the season.
Well, I guess I really can't talk from experience with the face mask because it was always just an offensive lineman sticking his fingers through my face mask trying to, like scratch my eyes or do anything like that. It was never really, I don't know if you noticed this, Moose, but I never really got to run the ball much. And never had it was never tackled by the face mask. So I'm sure you could probably talk a little bit better about it than I can.
No, I didn't get to run the ball much either, Tony.
Yes, you did.
A little more than Goose. First and goal from the 9. Stanton fires, looking for Standiford. Second and goal upcoming.
I think it'll be interesting to see for the Detroit Lions if Matthew Stafford is not able to be ready coming out of the bye week. And watching him on the field earlier today, I don't know if he's just 2 weeks away. What will Detroit stay with Drew Stanton? I agree with you, Tony. I've been impressed with him. For a young guy, he has a good feel in the pocket.
I don't know how many reps he got this week, but he looks like he's adjusting very well.
Second and goal, Kevin Smith, and it's Nick Barnett coming up the middle to make the tackle.
Kevin Smith cannot stop his feet in the hole right there, or he's going to get run over. If you watch this from behind, I mean, I'm standing behind him. Kevin Smith right here gets the ball, watch his feet go past, puts the brakes on. That's just setting yourself up for a huge hit.
He might have been startled that nobody blocked the guy who was right in front of him.
Yeah.
Third and goal from the 10. Stanton to the end zone. It is intercepted by Atari Bigby.
Well, just when you talk about how well he's playing, he makes a mistake caused by inexperience. Can't give up points. Make sure your throws are clean in the red zone. Atari Bigby plays it perfect.
Following the third Lions turnover, Packers maintaining their 26-0 lead over the Lions. Green Bay starting from their own 20-yard line. This is Grant. Grant across the 25. Levy the tackle, gain of 6.
TJ Lang's doing a nice job since he's come in for Chad Clifton.
Yeah, he really hasn't been challenged much on the pass, though.
No, we haven't seen that yet.
He's been doing a great job on the run. I see exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's coming off the ball. He's staying with his block.
He's got a little nasty in him, too.
Yeah, I like that. I think you're absolutely right with just replacing one guy with, Jay Lang and not moving everybody. Because people don't understand, going from guard to tackle, your angles are a lot different when you have to make the blocks and what you have to look at. It's not easy. You can't just say, oh, he's an offensive lineman. He could be able to play, guard, center, tackle. It's a lot different from going from center to guard or guard to tackle. It's a tough situation.
Well, I think that now Mike McCarthy's going to have confidence in him, and it'll be interesting to see once they drop back and throw the ball how he does. But whether it's been the defensive end Cliff Averill or one of the linebackers out there, he's had nice hands. He keeps his feet moving. He's got good pad level when he comes off.
Yeah, and he stays with the block even after the ball is declared. He's pushing. That's what you have to do.
4th down and 1. Good second effort by Kuhn. Lions thought they had him. It will depend on the spot, and Jerome Boger signals a 1st down for Green Bay.
Good effort by John Kuhn because he was stopped. Good penetration inside by Grady Jackson, plugged everything up.
Grant to the outside. And it's Delmas who tackles Grant for a loss of 3.
Another one of the players in that draft this year by the Detroit Lions, Louis Delmas. You talked about DeAndre Levy when he had his interception. And, of course, Matthew Stafford, #1 overall. We've talked about Brandon Pettigrew. They've got a nice foundation starting to be built. They've got some good young players that are out there getting some quality time.
Jim Schwartz told us yesterday we drafted well. In fact, they started 5 rookies in one game. Their only win against Washington. Brandon Jackson. He loses the football. And it's Jermichael Finley.
Trying to get that extra yard.
Yep. Finley on the recovery. Under 5 minutes remaining, 4th quarter.
Get everybody pushed by. Brandon Jackson cuts back inside. Julian Peterson hustling across, gets a hand on it when he goes in for the tackle.
Third down and 8. Packers must get to the 40. Rodgers takes off. And a late flag. 3 flags. And the extracurricular activity continues.
It'll be interesting to see if they say because Aaron Rodgers slid. I want to see where Donald Driver went when he made contact, because I think it's just a good hustle physical play by Donald Driver.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense number 80. Because the foul occurred after the 1st down, 15-yard penalty, Green Bay keeps the ball, 1st down.
The funny, Larry Foote's going after him. Okay, you had a wide receiver just take a defensive lineman off his feet. I don't know.
That was a nice hit by Driver, I think. I mean,
those guys, we saw Brian Johnson earlier, Goose, get just, teed up, and that's a clean hit, no penalty. And Donald Driver's just hustling. He's taking care of his quarterback. I mean, how many times have we seen quarterbacks, slide feet first, and they're supposed to be free, and then somebody's jumping on them?
New set of downs for the Packers because Driver picked up the first down. Well, Rodgers picked up the first down prior to the hit by Driver, and now Grant takes it out to the 32-yard line. Back in the first half, Donald Driver on his first reception today set a new franchise record. He had been tied coming into the game with Sterling Sharp.
And in an era of football where we have wide receivers that always want the attention, Donald Driver not out of that mold at all and just very consistent. You know, been a great player for the Green Bay Packers, and love to have him on your team as a teammate just because of the way he carries himself.
Turk McBride is the injured Lion. 26-0 Green Bay. Fans saluting Donald Driver here in Green Bay. Don Hudson held the franchise record for receptions for nearly 50 years. James Lofton broke the record in the mid-'80s, and then Sterling Sharp in '94. Today, Donald Driver. 3.5 remaining. 2nd and 6 from the 32, Ryan Grant. And Grant picks up a first down and more across midfield. He is finally tackled from behind by Cliff Averill after a gain of 22 yards.
Well, this is going to be a good confidence builder for the Green Bay Packers because their run game has been struggling a little bit. They've got a good yards per carry, maybe a question more of opportunity, but to be able to rely on it at this point when Detroit, they know that Green Bay is running the ball right now. They're just trying to take the time off the clock, and yet Green Bay is running it as effectively as they have in the last couple games.
And that rundown, longest of the season for Grant, longest of the season for the Packers. On the 46, it's Grant again. Grant getting 5 down to the 41.
And Ryan looks as good as he's looked in the last couple of games, too. Kind of getting back to that, the guy we remember from his breakout season back in 2007.
Over 400 yards offense for the Packers. Rodgers has thrown for 358.
Well, you're going to have a number like that when you're the Detroit Lions if you don't have Calvin Johnson. He's a unique athlete on the outside. Not only the yards that he's going to generate, but he's going to force defenses to play certain ways, and that's going to open things up for Kevin Smith. So just a tough day for the Lions.
2-minute warning in Green Bay. Two minutes remaining here in Green Bay. Packers 26 and the Lions nothing. Packers scored 2 early touchdowns, one coming off a turnover, and have not looked back. Grant close to another Packers first down. Well, this is going to be the Lions' 19th consecutive loss in the state of Wisconsin, including the postseason. Last time the Lions won in this state here at Lambeau back on December 15th, 1991. They clinched a playoff berth.
Picks in this league that are making a lot of contributions. Time to set it back to law.
0-16 here at Lambeau, 0-3 in Milwaukee. Now the Packers are going to run out the clock. Last shutout by the Packers came during the 2007 season against Minnesota. And the last time the Packers shut out the Lions, Darryl, 1946 in Detroit. Their last shutout of the Lions here in Green Bay, 5 years prior to that. And the Lions, despite all their struggles this decade, they have not been shut out in 118 games. Last time the Lions were shut out, December of 2001 by the Chicago Bears.
You don't have your new franchise quarterback. I know Matthew Stafford is just a rookie, but he is the future of this team. And everybody you talk to says he's got everything you would ask for in a quarterback to lead your team, and their standout wide receiver on the outside. So it was a stacked deck against the Lions today, and unfortunately, They ran into a team off of a bye, and even though the Green Bay Packers, sluggish at times, they were able to find a way to win this game in shutout fashion.
Detroit with a bye next week. Packers will head to Cleveland. For Darryl Johnston and Tony Siragusa, Kenny Albert saying so long from Green Bay. Now to the Jaguars and the Rams, Ron Pitts and John Lynch.